Good afternoon, class. Today is Wednesday, May 13th. Let's begin. So today we are reading another Musical Mania. This time it is from Beauty and the Beast, and it is the song Tale as Old as Time. And as usual with this, I want you to read it 3 times. And you can either read it and listen to the lyrics at the same time, or you can read it independently. The first time you listen to it, I want you to do our regular, where you go through and you highlight anything you don't know. You might be like, Mrs. Benavides, why am I doing this every single time? I get the idea. And the thing is, that's how we make it a habit for ourselves, that when we really practice something over and over and over again, that's when it becomes a habit. And so I'm hoping that this strategy becomes a habit in your reading toolbox. So that's the first time. The second time through, I want you to draw a picture of what you think is happening, but I want you to try not to reference anything that's not in the song. So, for example, if you've seen either one of the Beauty and the Beast movies or the play, I don't want you to use that information when you're drawing it. What is the song actually conveying? Not what's happening in the actual lyrics, and not what's happening in the video. So focus on the lyrics, not on the video. The third time through, I want you to try to highlight, circle, underline in a different color any examples of figurative language. So remember, figurative language we've talked about could be a simile, which is where we use like or as. She's as fast as a fox. It can be a metaphor, which is like, this is a war zone, even if it's not, a real war. It feels like that, and it's comparing. And the third one is a hyperbole, something that's an exaggeration, like what we talked about yesterday with the Musical Mania on Mamma Mia, where it's like, mother said I was a dancer before I could walk, right? That really didn't happen. She didn't really just magically get up and start dancing before she could walk. But this was an exaggeration to say that the dancing came to her pretty naturally. So I meant to click on that. Once you've done that 3 times, I want you to come back to this video and either answer in your Ultimate Language notebook or follow along with me on a spare sheet of paper. Question number 1, tale as old as time, song as old as rhyme, are both examples of A, metaphors, B, onomatopoeia, C, similes, or D, oxymoron. I'm going to give the answer in 3, 2, 1. It is a simile. And the reason is it's comparing tale and time, tale as old as time, song as old as rhyme. That like or as tells me that it's a simile. I do want to talk about onomatopoeia is words like buzz, like what my bees on my dress might say, buzz, because that word literally means sound. And an oxymoron is something that is inherently contradictory, like an easy challenge. If something is a challenge, it's inherently not easy. Next, beauty is to beast as sunrise is to what? So think, how are beauty and beast related? And which of these would plug in for the same relationship with sunrise? Is it A, moon, B, sunset, C, horizon, D, daylight? I'm going to give the answer in 3, 2, 1. It is sunset, B. And the reason for this is because beauty is the opposite of beast, so sunrise is the opposite of sunset. Do you think this song shows that the singer is surprised or expected that the Beauty and the Beast would fall in love? I really, really need you to think about the lyrics here. Is this expected or is it not? And so it might seem unexpected. This is why I really think this song is funny, is because the meaning that's being conveyed in the lyrics is very different than what's really being shown on the screen in any version of this, even the musical version. So definitely make sure you're paying attention. I can't say it enough to those lyrics and not to the movie that you may or may not have seen. Question number 4, which of the following is an example of a present tense verb? A, rising, B, tail, C, barely, D, east. I'm going to give the answer in 3, 2, 1. It is A, rising. So remember, any word that ends in ing is almost always going to be a verb. We know that barely ends in ly, so that's a lolly, lolly, lolly. Get your adverbs here. So that one's an adverb. Tail is a noun, right? Remember, nouns are easily identifiable, especially concrete nouns. If you can put the in front of them, the tail makes sense. And east is actually also a noun, but it's an abstract noun that is a direction. Number 5, when the song says bittersweet and strange, finding you can change, learning you were wrong, this most likely means A, the singer finds it bitter and strange that she was wrong. B, the singer is glad that they were wrong about each other, even though it is hard to accept that you are wrong. C, the singer thinks it's always wonderful to be wrong. Or D, the singer finds this moment strange and isn't quite sure what to make of it. So let's think this through together with some logic. So the first one I want to show about is C, is not the correct answer. You should always be wary when a question in multiple choice has one of the options as always, because very rarely in life is anything always true. So the real answer to this one is, sorry, my computer is dying, is actually B. The singer is glad that they were wrong about each other, even though it is hard to accept that you were wrong. So today our work on Mudshark is going to be with the inciting incident. So an inciting incident is also known as the call to action. This is what gets the story in motion. What do you think the inciting incident is of this story? What actions do you think the characters are going to take after this moment? So what really gets the story moving? Before this point, as we talked about before with like plot structure, there's a lot of exposition. There's a lot of setting up who Mudshark is, what the school is about, who's the custodian, and all these kind of funny details, his sisters. What is the thing that changes that? What's the thing that starts this whole mystery into action? Today we are going to read chapters 2 and 3. Question number 1, do you have younger siblings? Do you think they affect who you are as a person and your personality? Why or why not? I think for me, for sure, I have 2 siblings and they definitely affect me and how I am. I think the biggest way that I think my siblings have affected me as a person is that we always disagree with each other, especially my brother Tom. I don't think if you sat us in a room and sat us at a table, you would really be able to understand that we're related to each other because we are polar opposites. We have opposite values, we have opposite belief systems, we have opposite ways of purchasing clothing, we have opposite interests. It's hard for me to think of one thing that I have in common with my brother other than he is from the same mother and father as I am. But I think that affected me because it really always forced me to look at someone else's perspective, even from a young age, because he was always challenging me on what I thought and what I was doing. And so for me, even though I still don't agree with him, it has opened my eyes to the other point of view, to things that I hold. 2, what does it take to be cool as Mudshark is cool? Are you cool, and how do you know? I am not cool. I would be the first to admit that. I don't think I ever was cool. Like, I don't think there was ever a point in my life where I was cool. And I think for me, that's okay. Being cool has never been a value of mine. It's never been something I've sought after. And honestly, I think life is better when you're not the center of everyone else's attention. I think this book is interesting because it presents a popular character who is also a good character, which is kind of rare in 5th grade books now. There's a lot of times where the popular character is the bully. And so it's kind of really refreshing, I think, about this book to see a popular character who's not a bully, who's not mean, who doesn't take these kinds of actions. Number 3, why do you think the author chose to start every chapter with a PA announcement? What does this add to the book? For me, I think that this adds a definite enticement to keep reading. The PA announcements are definitely what first grabbed my attention with this book, what first made me want to keep reading. How does the author's voice affect your impression of Mudshark? Do you think Mudshark is smart or unintelligent? What makes you think so? I'm not going to answer this one for you because I really want you to think for yourself. How does that tone, the words that the author uses, affect how you read this book? And what are some of the problems that the school is having with animals? Again, this is more of a general comprehension question, so I definitely want you to attack this from your own personal experience and your own reading. Okay. So some of the answer keys for chapter 1, how does the author hook the reader at the beginning of the story? So your answers might be different, but the PA messages, it always captures students' attention in school, and it captures the reader's attention in the story. What is your immediate first impression of Mudshark? What does the book want us what does the book tell us about him? What can you infer? He's smart, kind of arrogant, responsible, and cool. What is Mudshark's real name? Why is he nicknamed Mudshark? What do you think it says about his characterization? On page 2, it says that his real name was Lyle Williams. I have a puppy who's insisting her way onto my lap. So it says that his real name is Lyle Williams. He got his name from a match of Death Ball. The name is an effort to make him seem more athletic and cool. Sometimes his outfit fit in with everybody else, and sometimes it didn't. Once he wore a green wool sweater that had yellow, blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to repeat that whole quote. What does this tell us about Mudshark's character? This tells us that Mudshark is himself, yet he influences other characters. Answers will vary, however, it is clear that the author is trying to convince the reader that it is better to be yourself, then others will follow. For the vocabulary, copious means a lot. For the vocabulary, exponentially means a lot. Number 7, rogue means C, out of place. And 8, cunning means C, intelligence. So AACC. Thank you so much for joining us, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye!